And good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's edition of the Whitfield Report. I am your host, Sam Whitfield, live streaming on our Facebook page for the Whitfield Report. That's facebook.com/Whitfield Report. There's also a good chance some of you are watching this on YouTube in the archive later on. And if that is the case, I recommend that you go like our page, the Whitfield Report on Facebook. You can also watch this on American Watchman's Facebook page. I'll be posting that in a bit here. And soon I will also be going over some news as well. For right now, though, I'm just clearing out some tabs, so bear with me. We're going to be covering a few stories today. I don't want to go too much over the shooting that happened in Florida. I kind of went over that on my other podcast, my Anchor podcast, the Whitfield Rundown, which you can listen to on Anchor, and you can subscribe to that on iTunes. The audio version of this podcast will, of course, be available over on tapewrite.com as well. Follow me on Twitter at samdbert_NDC, as some of you can maybe see here on the bottom of the screen. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on Twitter. They seem to be purging more and more conservatives each and every day. In fact, I saw earlier this morning, I guess, they haven't gotten rid of her yet, but they severely limited Laura Loomer's Twitter account access. And that's a shame in my opinion, because Laura is great and she's a fantastic journalist. I'm hoping to get her on the podcast at some point. We were supposed to I was going to have her on about a year ago around this time, and then that was around the time she got super popular, and she became swamped. So go figure. Anyway, though, in relation to the fact that her Twitter account is limited, that's a bad thing, because Twitter is mainly what journalists and social commentators like myself use as a social platform to spread information and spread our commentary. But nevertheless, Facebook, with its liberal bias, is limiting us more and more each day, which is a shame, but that's just the way things go sometimes, I guess. So, with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, there's no telling when I'll be off Twitter. I don't think I'll be off there anytime soon, but you never know. So I've started posting on the social networking platform called Gab. Now, most people in the conservative media sphere will already know what Gab is, but for those of you who don't know, it's an alternative to Twitter, basically, where anyone can go and post content. They really don't restrict your limits on free speech whatsoever, which means that sometimes you'll run into some people who are, shall we say, less than moral, and sometimes have really repulsive thoughts, but as long as they're not doing anything illegal, Gab pretty much allows them to have a platform as well. So it's basically free speech for all. And there are some features to mute users if they get too repulsive, which you can do. But long story short, I'm really liking the platform. I wish they had a mobile app for iOS. They have one on Android, but for some reason the App Store rejected their app, so that's a shame. With that, shameless plug, you can find me on Gab at Sam Whitfield, and as you can see, I'm a verified user. That's another thing. I've been on Twitter for about 5-6 years now, and almost in the entire time I've been on Twitter, I've applied for verification, never got it. They say you need like 3,000 users or whatever to get a minimum of verification, and I've never had the. I've always thought that the verification rules of Twitter are a little bit stupid. Like, if you can prove who you are, you should be verified. Apparently the people at Gab thought so too. So I do have a verified profile in Gab, and as you can see, I do have a few posts on there since I've signed up. But anyway, you can find me on Gab. Going over there, I do have premium content over there as well. So if you're not already following me on Gab, please do so. Again, that's pretty simple. Follow me there at Sam Whitfield, and yeah, it should be pretty straightforward to use. All right. And also, you can check out my main webpage, thesamwhitfield.com, and I just posted about 30 minutes ago my latest book review, which is Killing England by Bill O'Reilly and Martin Dugard. I actually read that for a class I'm taking in college this semester. But nevertheless, it's always good. It's a really good book. I have the audiobook version, so I recommend going and reading that. I think you guys will really enjoy it, and if you want to learn more about the book, then read my review. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let's get into some news then, shall we? I'm going to head on over to the Drudge Report. The one thing I've noticed, I do want to talk about some cultural stuff today. Most notably, the Black Panther movie, and I found an interesting article via Drudge from the Washington Times. And I'll tell you, folks, the more and more we dive into the more and more the left goes into social justice, the weirder it gets. So let me read for you this article from the Washington Times. Black Panther, packed with action, diversity, but no gay people. Now that's a weird thing to kind of be complaining about, but oh well. They're making a big deal about this. Marvel Studios' Black Panther is being hailed as one of the most diverse superhero movies in Hollywood history. Well, that's not true. Most of the I have not seen Black Panther yet, for the record, but from what I understand, it's mostly a black centric movie. Nothing wrong with that, but I don't think that there's very much diversity in Black Panther at all, at least not from what I'm seeing. Uh, Marvel Studios' Black Panther is being hailed as the most diverse superhero movie in Hollywood history. But it's not diverse enough for some progressives who will want to know where are all the gay characters. The latest comic book to film adaptation checked off a number of identity boxes with its almost exclusively black cast and cohort of strong female characters. But filmmakers ditched a lesbian romance subplot from the original comic books, prompting an outcry from the LGBT community. Actress Florence Kosamba, I think I got that name right, so good for me, stoked the flames of outrage when she revealed the scenes of lesbian flirtation filmed during production were left on the cutting room floor. The final result that we've seen, quote, the final result that we've seen, there were a few scenes that had been cut out, Miss Kusama told Vulture. Different scenes also. They didn't make it into the movie for certain reasons, and at this point, I have to say what the reason is, I cannot tell you, because nobody told me about whether it's in or not. LGBT advocates had every reason to hope that Black Panther would be the first Marvel Studios film to feature an openly gay character. LGBT, the comic book series, is written by Ta-Nehisi Coates, a national correspondent for the Atlantic and a prominent commentator on race. Mr. Coates tapped feminist writers Roxane Gay and Yona Harvey to create a spin-off comic book series, World of Wakanda, that follows around two members of the Dora Milaje, the fictional African nation's all-female special forces unit. Okay, now we're getting into deep SJW territory with the special forces military being all female. But we're still not virtue signaling enough, I guess. The main characters in World of Wakanda, Io and Aneka, are also in a relationship. Are in a lesbian relationship. Although Aneka is not in the movie, rumors of a lesbian romance spread when Vanity Fair reportedly seeing the rough cut of a scene featuring another female warrior, Oki-Eye, looking flirtatiously into Ao's eyes. Marvel Studios quickly shot down the rumors, saying that the nature of Ao and Oki-Eye is not romantic. When asked about the deleted scene, screenwriter Joe Robert Cole said that there were talks, including a gay love story in the movie, but those plans did not pan out. I think the short answer is yes, Mr. Cole told Screen Crush. I know that there were quite a few conversations around different things, different directions with different characters, and characters that we may have. We thought, well, maybe we'll work it in the way of an arc that it could work with an arc. This led to accusations from the gay rights community of LGBT erasure. The Advocate, a popular LGBT magazine, panned Mr. Cole's explanation for cutting the scene as vague. There are very few LGBTQ characters in past Marvel films. The very few LGBTQ characters in past Marvel films have been either closeted or unmentioned, the magazine says in a video titled, "What About LGBTQ representation in Black Panther. It seems Black Panther won't be breaking the mode. Writing at Gizmodo, Charles Pullen Moore argued there was room in the film for a romantic lesbian subplot. A romance between Okoye and Ayo is the sort of thing that could have been included in Black Panther with something as simple as a longing look and a bit of a floating kiss. Oh, Christian Toto, a film critic who runs the Hollywood in Toto blog, also a friend of mine via Facebook, ladies and gentlemen, said Marvel Studio tends to shy away from romance, heterosexual or homosexual. It's not just a main component of the story, said Mr. Toto, who contributes articles to the Washington Times. And also, with a movie like Black Panther, you have to do so much. You have to establish the world, the villain, the motivation. What is Wakanda? There are so many things that are competing for screen time. Peter Wood, president of the National Association of Scholars, said praising or criticizing art or that showcases certain identities is to have an impoverished understanding of art. To look upon art as primarily a means of expressing social complaint is to summon an art that isn't impoverished, because it is putting ideological concerns ahead of any aesthetic vision, said Mr. Wood. I can understand that some may say that their aesthetic vision is a matter of group identity. I would lament that. Is a very clear impoverished way of viewing both identity and art. Despite its lack of LGBT representation, Mr. Toto said, it's hard to imagine a superhero movie geared more towards social justice. You just can't deal with the hard left, he said. Okay, folks, so as I said before, I have not seen Black Panther. But I do want to bring something up because I believe that this would be the perfect time to bring up Black Panther. Okay. Honestly, folks, I really don't understand why there's such a big deal being made about the fact that there are no LGBT characters in Black Panther, okay? As Mr. Toto said, it really shouldn't matter. And this is the one thing that really bothered me about the Black Panther phenomenon. Leading up to this movie, we had a whole bunch of people on both the hard left and on the hard right freaking out about this movie. Those on the hard left were saying that only Black people should be allowed to watch this film in the theater. That white people should just skip the theaters completely, and that this was the time for African Americans to exclusively enjoy this film. On the hard right, on the alt-right, you have Richard Spencer-like individuals. I'm not sure that Richard Spencer himself has said anything about this movie, but I know that some people who share his ilk thought that this was a anti-white black colonial movie or something crazy like that. And this is the problem with most movies in 2018. And we've seen this trend in pop culture for really the last 8 to 10 years almost. But everything has become political now. Have you noticed that? Everything has literally become politicized. Whether it be movies like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or comic books, or even the NFL. Hi, Zach Angel. Thank you for joining the live stream. We're actually talking about Black Panther today. Whether it's the NFL or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or whatever, everything seems to be politicized these days. And it's getting really annoying somewhat because there's no reason for people to be freaking out about this movie. As I said at the beginning of the show, I have not seen it yet. I'm probably going to see it this weekend or in the next few weeks. But I remember you used to be able to go to a movie and just enjoy it without all of social media making a big deal about the identity politics of something. And now that seems to be what the hard left is obsessed with, is identity politics. From what Zach's told me and from what other people on Facebook have said, Black Panther was a pretty good movie. Other people I know on YouTube have said that it's only an okay movie, that it's not really deserving of the 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, or I think it's at 99% now. And that's the other thing. Apparently Rotten Tomatoes is now trying to purge negative reviews of Black Panther from their website. I've heard that from a few people. I'm not really sure if that's the way Rotten Tomatoes works. I know quite a bit about film, and from my understanding, Rotten Tomatoes focuses primarily, it's more like an aggregate, just like Drudge Report is. Kind of averages out the reviews to create a score, and it's mostly from official publications. But I'm not sure if the purging thing is true or not, that they're purging reviews. Maybe one of you could tweet at me or email me or let me know about that. But regardless, it's just a movie, ladies and gentlemen. And why so many people on both sides of the political aisle are getting so riled up about it, I don't understand. At the same time, I really wish that not everything coming out of Marvel needed to be centered on identity politics. I do agree with some people that Marvel and Disney, especially with Star Wars, has really started to focus on the SJW identity politics front. I liked The Last Jedi, actually, going on to another movie, and I was one of the few people that did. But the one thing I will say is the fact that they had to shove Laura Dern in there really. No one I know likes Laura Dern. My dad and I went and saw. I saw the Last Jedi twice. The first time was with my mom. Second time was when I was in Denver for Christmas, and my dad and I went. And my dad and I, we don't always agree politically well when it comes to things, but we mostly like the same movies. The one thing he did say, though, is, oh, God, Laura Dern's in this one. She popped up on screen. And the fact, I guess some people are saying that there was a hint of a lesbian relationship between her and Leia. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't think it was, since we all know, since anyone in their right mind should know that Han and Leia were in a relationship. But regardless, again, that's maybe people seeing things through the prism of identity politics. All right, so that's my little rant for today on social justice in movies. And really, I wanted to do this stream mainly to test out the feature of my new live streaming software on my computer. Pretty soon I'm going to be doing live interviews for this podcast, and I'm going to be making the streaming times more regular. So thank you guys for watching live. If you did, Zach, thanks for tuning in. And for those of you who are watching this on the archive, thank you for watching this later on. And for those of you watching on American Watchmen, thank you as well. And for those of you downloading the podcast, I really appreciate it. For now, this is Sam Whitfield signing off from NGC Studios, one of the sub-commands we have here. And God bless and God save the straight nation. Have a great day, guys.